Secondly, feelings. Of course, prayer does have a mental component, but prayer is not primarily a work of the mind. Its source is an act of love and desire that wells up from the heart. When we shut ourselves off from the heart, genuine prayer ceases. We are left to fill in time as best we can, juggling thoughts or suppressing distractions. In addition, prayer does not take place without feeling. If my spirit sings, my body will dance. To banish feeling from prayer is a major distortion. But what do we feel? It is no mere fluttering of outward emotion, but something that comes from the heart. What is actually felt? Sometimes we repeat Peter's prayer on the Mount of Transfiguration, "Lord, it is so good for us to be here." At other times I may be restless and bored, fragmented, disgruntled. Sometimes I feel drawn beyond the shallows into a boundless ocean. At other times, it is like being dumped by a rogue wave and dragged across a gritty beach. Prayer does have a feeling component, but the feeling is not always positive. Emptiness, guilt, dread, all these serve a function in our prayer, and as such of themselves are good. We do not have to turn aside from them because they render no comfort. Prayer is a feeling, but not of the same order as the excitement of a football game. To paraphrase St. Gregory the Great, there is a great difference between the pleasures of the body and those of the heart. Bodily pleasures have a tremendous natural attraction, whereas spiritual pleasures do not have this intense appeal. In the long run, however, excessive bodily pleasure leads to satiety, and satiety always leads to disgust. On the other hand, spiritual pleasures lead to happiness, and that happiness gives birth to a longing for even greater happiness. There are dangers in giving too much emphasis to feelings, which need to be governed by reason and by sound teaching. But governed does not mean suppressed. We are not Stoics, but followers of the Son of God who became like us in all things. Jesus grieved, wept, and rejoiced in the Holy Spirit. He was angry, shuddered in dread at the approach of his passion, and groaned in abandonment at its height. To deny feelings is ultimately to deny Christ. It seems to imply that there is another way of finding God apart from being human. Distractions. As soon as we begin making room for prayer, all sorts of other things begin to crowd in. Memories, emotions, plans for future projects. And if we do manage to start praying, it does not seem long before our attention wanes and the process begins all over again. Sometimes my prayer is a time of great inner stillness, and my spirit is possessed by what feels like God's nearness. That is good prayer. At other times I am tired and disgruntled. My efforts at prayer simply expose me to the specter of my own weaknesses, and I cry out to God from a very great distance. That also is good prayer. There's no such thing as bad prayer. Prayer may be rejoicing in the Spirit or writhing in anguish. It is good if it is real, and no good if it is delusion or play acting. Sometimes prayer seems to go well. The danger is that next time I come to pray, I try to recreate that prayer instead of trying to pray from where I am. In other words, I spend my time searching for yesterday's prayer. It has vanished as certainly as a flittering butterfly. I cannot evade the task before me. I must pray from where I am today. It may be useful to list a number of factors that generally help as we enter into prayer and attempt to deal with distractions. A significant source of distractions during prayer, of course, is our daily activities. Living pressurized lives, we pass through a series of very high-tension situations, squished one against another. There is little opportunity to process life as it happens. We schedule the day so that no time is lost. And as we try to clear our minds for prayer, our daily interactions start tugging at our emotions. What is needed is time to empty the wastebasket, chalk up some matters to experience, and try to file the rest away for future action. We cannot rush into meditation without quieting down. Otherwise, most of the time will be spent not in finding our heart, but in coping with the contents of our head. It is important to realize that strong emotions can torpedo prayer, but only if they operate out of control. When moving toward meditation, it is important to become aware of feelings that are uppermost, instead of trying to eliminate them or allowing them to do what they like. We learn to face them by dialoguing with emotions. If I am angry, I must respect that anger and listen to it. I allow it to express itself, and then I gently tease out and calm the upheaval. Once I grasp what is stirring within me, I can then carry it into prayer. Not a replay of the battle, but setting it aside. We do not go far on the journey of prayer before becoming aware that our ability to pray is closely allied to establishing peace with everyone. Winding down, moving into a deeper, slower, calmer rhythm entails gradually dismissing whatever clutters the space into which I invite the Lord. An illustration of this is the process of going to sleep at night. Nothing is worse than trying too hard. Ideally, we drift into sleep on automatic pilot. We gradually leave aside the concerns of the day, put into operation whatever routines are preludes to our sleep, and then we let nature take its course. We avoid excitement and we postpone difficult decisions. Our first priority is restoration of energies through a good night's sleep. Things will look better in the morning.